Okay, so game on with the 1/12 scale 57 Chevy. This has been going on for years. I'm back to it. We're going to go with a different interior idea. I pulled the parts back out. Boy, I really had to dig them out too because they were on the bottom of the pile. And if you recall with this car, I'll try to put some photos up from years ago. The car itself is pretty far along, and we just got stuck. We just got an impasse on the interior, and so it is sitting here completely undone. And but we got some new ideas, and we're going to try to go forward with it. Now, of course, the dashboard you see is all one piece, which for a boy, a scale this big, don't you think they could separate this a little bit, make it a little easier to paint? But they didn't, and so this is going to be probably the hardest part of the whole car, is painting this dash, which is going to be, we looked up some reference photos on Auto Trader, and found this is a stock interior that came out in 57, the silver and black. As you can see there, the top of the dash and the bottom are going to be black, and then the instrument area is going to be silver. So up there is black, down there is black, instrument area is silver, including the steering column, and then this area right here where the radio, this strip that's got this kind of a checkerboard, or I don't know what you would call that pattern, that is stainless or chrome, bright work. And so that, it's so tight I don't think I'm going to be able to get foil in there, so I'm going to end up having to hand paint that with chrome paint and make it look as good as I can. And then I'll decide whether or not I want to. If you can see there, the individual numbers on the speedometer are there. If I wanted to get out my surgical magnifier goggles and a pen, or I don't know what I want to do. Probably want to try to do a kind of a wash there, but may do nothing. I would really like that to be a decal, but it's not. Anyway, so the idea is to make the dashboard look pretty much like that. And okay, then going on to the door panels and the seats are going to be mostly silver with the black on the inside. Pull those out. This is the front and the back of the front seat. So this part right here, it's got the little buttons, it's going to be black, and the rest of it all silver, which shouldn't be that hard to do with masking. Now here, obviously this bumpy part is black, the rest is silver, and then this base of the seat is also going to be black. You can see just a little tip of it sticking up there, and that will be that. And then we have a good look at the back seat here. Is practically the same as the front, and a look at the door panel there. So when I bring that big tub over, you'll see that of course those parts will be black, and then the top of that panel, oh, camera does not like this shade of red. Top of that panel, of course, will be black there, bottom silver. And then this front panel, you can see top will be black, armrest silver, and bottom silver. And then bottom black, as you can see down at the bottom. So, get started by painting this whole thing black, and that whole thing black, and that whole thing black. Basically that whole thing black. And then go to the next layer and try to finish this up. Okay, got the black paint on the dashboard. Came out pretty good. I just used the cheap Walmart paint. And what this does is it gives me the background for the gauges, and you know, the top is all done, and the bottom, and that's, boy, look at the sinkholes. Crazy sinkholes in this. But yeah, so now I'm going to be painting around the gauges that silver color, which is going to be hard enough. And then after that I'll do the chrome. So that will be the next thing I show. But this is another curiosity. Look here on the seat. About to put the seat back on the seat. And look how there's no holes, no guides, no anything on both sides of this. So you just kind of put it on there the best you can and slide it around without guides at all, which is fine. It just surprises me the first time I've ever seen that. Anyway, next scene should be that part's painted silver. Okay, and on the 57 Chevy, what I've got here now is I've painted the silver part in the instrument cluster, and I did that with brush paint, just the regular Testors silver brush paint, and just did it by hand, and you know, I got in there pretty good. And anywhere where I went over the line, I came back and touched up with the black Sharpie. And by black Sharpie, I mean the real Sharpie, the one, you know, very fine tip, right there. It's trying to focus. Okay, there you go. So with this one, you can really get in there and correct all your little mistakes. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is painting the bright work here, this strip, with the chrome paint. So, you know, you'll have silver and then you'll have chrome, should be quite a bit brighter. And we'll see if I want to. I do have a white Sharpie, and I might want to get in there and paint those numbers on the speedometer, and the other gauges. Have to decide whether or not I want to do that, but we'll see that soon. And now I've got the chrome part, the bright work, painted, and as I suspected, it's not suspected, but as I had imagined, it was going to be basically two different shades of silver. Now this silver up here, you know, I just use regular silver, and it really should be a little bit paler of a silver. Kind of hard to explain. You can see here, it's really the better shade of silver, but I'm just going to let that go. That's going to be fine, because the chrome is definitely, this is just regular Testors Model Master chrome brush paint, and came out looking pretty good, and definitely brighter than the other silver. And now next, basically have to paint all those little knobs, the little tips of the knobs, the little inner circles. They're not knobs, they're lights. Are going to be black, which is going to be really easy. And the same thing with the inner part of the knobs on the radio. And if I want to get really creative, I'm going to paint the Bel Air script gold color. Not sure if I want to risk that. Now the instrument cluster, the speedometer, I've decided not to try to paint those individual numbers because my white paint marker turned out to be a bit broader than I thought, and it's just going to make a mess. So instead of doing that, this is something that I do pretty often with like license plates. I took a picture of a real 57 Chevy speedometer and made a whole page with every size under the sun. And then what you do then is you this worked out much better with two hands. Okay, so then what you do is you take the one that looks like it matches up on the size the best, and then you cut out the one looks like it's going to be that one or that one, probably that one, and you just cut it out and jam it in there. And that will probably be next. Probably the next frame, you'll see the knobs painted, the lights painted, lights and knobs painted, and that cut out in for the speedometer. And here's what we got. Now I cut out the little printout and stuck it in there, and it was the right size. It's got this kind of a funny blue tint to it. I think that's because the original actual photo had glass cover on it and some kind of blue reflection. I'll have to decide what I want to do with that. Good thing about it is it's just a little piece of paper, and you can just be pulled back out and redone anytime I want. Now these other gauges, this temperature gauge and fuel gauge, I couldn't find good pictures of those on the internet, not yet anyway, but when I do, I'll do those as well. But as you can see, the tips of the lights, I've painted them black. The tips of the knobs, painted them black. And the script, I gave it a go. I went and I did some painting with gold with the toothpick. And may try to do it a little bit more because it's not showing up really gold. You know, that's probably got to be golder than that. And so I'll touch it up a bit more, but for now this is going to be the end of this update. Now the seat is, I glued it together, but I haven't done anything else on it. I'll get to start painting on that. Whoa, painting on that soon, and that will be in the next update. But that will do it for this update, and give you an idea of how the 57 Chevy is looking at this point. Talk to y'all later.